Hey YouTube, welcome to a new video. I'm Philip Jacob and you're watching Metal Beings. On today's video, we have the Hyundai Getz. So the Hyundai Getz is a globally sold vehicle. It was being sold from the year 2002 to 2011 actually, and after that the i20 came. It was being sold as a 3-door and also as a 4-door. In India it's called the Getz, whereas in the European countries it was called the Click, and also in Japan it was called the TB and Hyundai TB, which was Think Basic. And if you want to know what Getz means, they actually wanted to mean get it. So get it, Getz. It became together as Getz. And straight away, while checking out on the engine bay, we have a 4-cylinder petrol engine which is of 1341 cc. It produces around 61 bhp and 160 newton meters of torque. And as per ARAI, it can do a mileage of 16 kilometers per liter. But in city mileage you would get an approximate of 11 to 11.5 kilometers per liter in this engine. And while checking out on the exteriors, you have this beautiful red color car, and this color actually suits this Hyundai Getz. So while checking out on the details, you have this Hyundai logo in the middle and also a honeycomb design for the grills. You have the halogen headlamps on either side. Sadly, you do not have a fog lamp space or an accessory fitment to be done on this car, but you also have these bumper stickers on it, which in case you go and hit somewhere, it doesn't scratch your bumpers. And it's a very stylish looking, cute looking car, by the way. And for the wheels, you have an accessory fitted on them. You have a 13-inch wheels wrapped around with 175/70 R13 wheels. This actually suits the car pretty much. And you have a huge rear view mirror, which is very practical in this car. A lot of glass house, looks very roomy from the inside, and the design is very basic. It's very practical too. And while coming to the rear, you have the rear. This is also a signature look of the Hyundai Getz. Again, you have this beautiful light setup over here and a huge glass space also. It's very practical, I would say. This design is completely a practical design. And also you have this place wherein you can open the boot. And for the practicality part, you have a very deep boot space. And also if you want to access your spare wheel, you have it underneath over here. A good padding given out over here. You have the speaker systems, which also can be moved. And for the seats, you have this handle through which you can fold them and also keep it in an angular. If you want to keep it straight, let's say you have some back pains or something like that, you could do that too. Very practical space at the rear. So right now we are seated inside the Hyundai Getz, and we have the steering wheel, which is a 3-spoke steering wheel. No controls or anything as such in this, but a very practical speedometer and also your fuel gauge and your temperature gauge over there, and a small digital display which shows your trip meter and also your total kilometers driven. The dashboard, again, very basic and practical. This air vents can be opened and closed completely. The floors can be controlled over here. So you can't like adjust like this and break any of these fins over here. So that is a good thinking out over here. This space is very flat. You can keep in your mobile phones or anything, especially if you put that rubber band right. It would become very useful over here. And you have a small space for your music system. You have the AC controls over here. You have 2 cup holders in which you have this gear shifter. Yes, this cap is missing. So it's a complete nice round gear shifter which you have over here. A small space over here too. And you have the handrest. And again, another space to keep your water bottles. A very practical space out over here. And for the doors, you have the fabric which matches along with your seats. The seats are also very comfortable and they are very supportive. You have the controls. You don't feel anything very cheap. Like for example, if it's a Maruti Suzuki at that era, you wouldn't have this plastic over here. It would just be that steel rod over here. But they've really thought about those things over here. It looks really premium and also very practical out over here. So right now I'm seated at the rear of this Hyundai Getz, and as you can see, this is my driving position, but I don't have space to put my knees inside. But yeah, I can spread it around and maybe I can put my foot also a little bit front and make myself a little bit comfortable. And as for the headroom, yes, not very bad. I have a little bit of room too. Please understand, I'm tall. And this handrest also very practical. I have a small space and also the adjuster for my windows. It is comfortable, just that my legs are a little tight over here. But just because these seats are relaxed a little bit at the back, right, it is a little bit more on the comfort side. I do not have a handrest over here, but this is a 40-60 split seat, which you can completely fold it down. And as I mentioned before, the glass house, very roomy feeling inside. So right now we are going to check how the car feels while riding. Yes, unlike other cars, this is not a car which is supposed to be like ripped and seeing the performance. So this car is more of a family car, a much more practical car, I would say. This is a 2002 to 2011 they were selling this vehicle. This is also a pretty old car, but the car is pretty well maintained, I would say. The suspension and all feels like absolutely amazing. So on seat, yes, the seating position is very nice. It is very practical. I can just sit and drive for a long time. It's not that I'm very uncomfortable, but yes, for the person who's sitting at the back, he is not going to be comfortable, who's sitting just behind me. But if he's of a shorter stature, then yes, he would feel okay-ish, I would say. So you have this hydraulic steering in this, so it's not very hard. It is a little bit on the softer side and not very hard to drive, I would say. The seats are also very comfortable. The big plus of these cars is that you have this fabric in them. This is not that leather material. So even if it is in the hot sun, right, like, it's fine. It cools down very quickly inside this cabin space. The seats are really comfortable, I would say. Not very much comfortable, but yes, it is reasonable. I wouldn't complain much on these seats. And the suspension part, I think the suspension has been replaced recently in this car, so it's absolutely smooth. I've been going through lots of undulations and it feels a little tight and it's very good. I wouldn't complain on the suspension part. It really feels nice. Many people do modify this car. Yes, it also is friendly to modifications, but this car is completely stock, except for the wheels. Everything is completely stock in this car. This is again my friend's car. He's not here, but I'm using his car once in a while. So these olden cars, right, they are a little on the heavier side. Currently all the cars are very light. They want to make lots of mileage and everything like that. Yes, mileage wise, this is not so great. Like in city, getting a 9 or 10 itself is a task. As far as you are light footed, then yes, you would get a reasonable amount of mileage. But this is on the heavier side. So on the global Eurocap, if you see, this had a 4-star rating also. Especially for the people inside, it was really great, but for the pedestrian, it was not so great. It had only just 1 star. But as I mentioned, these cars are little practical too. Like on the safety side, on the comfort side, everything, it's just great. So this car is a family use car, and for a family usage, I don't think there is much needed. Like a father, son and 2 children can be very comfortable inside this car. So I've just come away from some back roads and I'm just picking up some speed. Oh, there's another Getz going black. So yeah, once the speed picks up, right, like it becomes smoother, and it's also a little playful, this car is. Like, because it's a hatchback, right? I would say it's a small, good hatchback. It's a sporty hatchback. It's a 1.3 liter. It's approximately 1.3 liters, and the power output is also pretty great for this size of a car. The performance is really nice. I wouldn't want to rip in this car, but then I will never complain. This car is pretty composed. It does the job. So that's it from me, guys. Not so much from this car, and I'll see you guys later in another video with another car. I hope you like this video. Please do like, share and subscribe to this channel. That's the only thing which pushes me to make more videos. So I'll see you guys later in another video with another car. Until then, bye-bye.